how to create a climate where truth is heard, how to motivate people with brutal facts. The theme of this entire book is that you don't require to motivate people. If you have good people in the bus, good people are not required to motivate. They will work on their own. Expending energy and trying to motivate people is really a waste of time. So to motivate people with brutal facts is not a question. A question is how you manage good people without demotivating them. Without demotivating good people, how you can manage them and still give them that these are the brutal facts in front of the organization. These are the challenges probably the organization will face. One of the way of surely demotivating the people is give them false hopes when the things are not going to improve. If you continuously try to give as a leader false hope that the situation is going to improve when it's not going to be, it is one of the way of demotivating the people. Which are the other ways of creating a climate where truth is heard? There are 4 methods which are prescribed in this book. Lead with the questions, not with the answers. Lead with the questions, not with the answers. When Allen became the CEO of in 1973 of a company, it was a small company, but it was on the verge of bankruptcy. There were problems regarding outstanding loans. The organization was facing a lot of problems. They were offering many products, but which were unrelated with each other. There was no unifying concept in the organization. The organization was facing a problem. And in next 10 years, over a period of time of next 10 years, Allen and his team entirely not only turned around the concept, but they created a concept, Circuit City. Circuit City, and in next 18 years, they gave returns 22 times better than the general market. So when the person took over the charge as a CEO, the company was facing the problems of bankruptcy. And after 20 years, the company was giving returns 22 times than the general market. Don't you think they are phenomenal results? When it was asked, what's the secret? Is when the Allen said that my ability to ask questions. One of the board members said that Allen had different kind of spark in him. He always used to ask a lot of questions. Generally what happens in the board meeting is that board people ask a lot of questions to CEO and CEO tries to answer everything. Yes sir, I'm doing this. In this company it was exactly different. He used to ask a lot of questions to the board members. Not only to the board members, but he also used to ask a lot of questions to his team of executives. Unless and until he understood the concept, he used to ask several questions. People in the organization used to say that, are you a prosecutor? How many questions you ask? Why? He said that, unless I understand the issue, I understand the concept, I understand the problem, I will ask questions. And questions are directed, or questions are asked with the intention of gaining some insights, understanding the issue, not to blame someone. Not questions like this, that what kind of work you have done, what you are doing, whatever you have done is wrong, how you have done it. Such kind of questions to blame someone, they were not asked. Questions like manipulation, do you agree with me? What do you feel? Don't you think this is a great idea? The questions were not manipulative. The question always used to start with, I want to understand this thing. Can you elaborate? Can you tell more about this thing? So that was the questioning style of Allen as a CEO. It was more about understanding the issue, understanding the concepts. Most of the good to great leaders, they always used to have informal meeting over a cup of coffee in the corridor of the company. They used to meet executives and ask them, what's going on in your mind? What do you feel about this challenge? According to you, which are the two things the organization should worry about in the near future? According to you, probably what the changes will happen in next 2 3 years? Asking question over a cup of tea or a cup of coffee, asking in the corridors, very informal meeting. There will be no agenda, no script, no writing down the points, but just questions. Just questions. Great leaders does not mean that you come up with the answers to the problems, and when your answers you try to give your vision and mission to the people to execute it. No, it's not great leadership. Great leadership is about understanding an issue, asking people about their perspective, what they feel. So at the end of the questioning session, the CEO or the leader will be having better insights about the issue, better insights about the problem. Number two principle about how to keep the culture of being heard is engage in dialogue and debate. Engage in dialogue and debate, not caution, not force about the decision. In 1965, Nucor was a very unpleasant company, very awful company. Only one of the division was making profits, and it was the only one division was the only cash cow. Rest of the divisions were drained, cash drained. They were not making any kind of profits. The company was facing a lot of problems. They were on the verge of bankruptcy. Nothing was wrong. The products they were offering at that time were totally unrelated. First of all, they were supplying semiconductors for electrical business, roof hoists, rare earth material, then something about office copiers. So you can see the products are really unrelated. And the time, the name of the company was Nucor, that is Nuclear Corporation of America. So this was the nature. There was no unifying force. There was nothing common in the cultural factor. And at that time, in 1965, this company started to turn around itself. And in 1965, they were hardly making any steel. They were not part of steel making at all. At all. They were making a lot of losses. Forget about profits and profitability and beating the share market. They were making losses. But after 30 years, that is in 1995, it was the most profitable. It was the most profitable steel company in America. The company which was not into steel making business, after 30 years become number one company in US in terms of profitability and fourth largest steel maker company in the world. So doesn't it you say that they don't have any exposure in steel, and with a time span of 30 years they became the largest company in US in terms of profits. They benefited basically because of level 5 leadership of one person, Averson, who was the employee of the same organization, but he was made a CEO. And Averson started with the journey by taking the right kind of people in the best, by making a team of all kind of right people in the organization. Averson never started, that's the secret of his entire leadership, he never started with the answers, that he came to the meeting that we are facing such kind of problem and this is a solution for me. No. He always used to come as a moderator in debate. He used to have meetings of the general managers and vice presidents, and he used to become a moderator whose job is just to moderate that everything happens in the meeting as per the agenda, nothing more than that. There were chaos in the meeting, aggressive statement, eye to eye statement. People used to shout at each other. They want to pondering on the table. They used to look at the other party with red eyes. They used to fold their arms and put the statements. People were so emotional about the debates. And his job was just to be a moderator and keep the discussion on the track. They will argue unless and until some conclusion is reached or some decision has been taken. Till that point, meeting will take place for hours. This ferocious, I say, aggressive meetings will go on till some decision has been taken. So, argue, debate, and take decision. Argue, debate, take decision. They were into supplying, say, a little bit earthen material to company, nuclear. They were into nuclear business. After a lot of debate, after a lot of arguments, decision was taken. Let's close down the business. Let's go to do something about steel. Let's manufacture some steel joists. Lot of discussion, lot of debate. Next discussion. We are making steel joists, but we will manufacture our own steel. Lot of debate happened. Lot of arguments happened. We have a lot of big mills of steel. Now we will go for a mini mill of steel. Lot of arguments and debate. Many mini mills of steel. Lot of arguments. Every decision that took place in the meeting, that happened after a lot of debate, a lot of arguments. A good debate. It was for in search of the best answers. It was not for telling someone that your perspective is wrong, your actions are wrong. It is not to blame someone. It is not to pinpoint at someone. It is just for getting insight for the best possible solution. And that was, I'll say, a very creative and constructive debate. The third factor in creating a climate of being heard is conducting autopsies, that is post-mortem of issues, but without blame. Just for example, in 1978, Philip Morris, a cigarette making company, they acquired one company known as 7-Up, and for that they paid a little bit huge amount. But after 8 years, they sold the company, and they sold the company at losses. Even though the losses were not so great, because looking at the profitability of Philip Morris, but it required hours, thousands of hours of precious time of top management people at both the times. When you were acquiring the company and at the time of selling the company, there were a lot of discussion. They lost a lot of precious hours of top management, and this was an ugly mistake. But nobody in the company tried to hide that we have gone wrong, we have made some mistake. Nobody tried to hide something or throwing the dust under the carpet. They used to discuss openly for hours that what went wrong, who was responsible. No, it was not to blame someone. That because of you we took this decision, because of you we take this decision. It is not about to pointing someone a finger that you are responsible for this ugly decision. No, it was for a post-mortem that what went wrong in our decision, what was wrong in our understanding. There was no pointing of finger except one person, that is a CEO, Joe Coleman. Joe Coleman said that probably I could have avoided this mistake, and this disaster could have been avoided if I would have listened to those people who were challenging my decision of acquiring a company, who were probably putting a perspective which was not, I'll say, it was opposite to my perspective of taking over. If I would have listened to those people, this blunder could have been avoided. And he always used to say that I am ready to take the responsibility of this mistake, of this takeover. I am ready to take the responsibility of this bad decision. But together, we need to take the responsibility about the learning, about the understanding from this mistake. Now look at the perspective of the CEO, Joe Coleman. In that period when all the CEOs were trying to protect themselves, to protect the image, and to blame people around them, because of these people my decision was wrong, because of the environment there were so many problems outside, that's why my decision was wrong. His perspective, Joe Coleman's perspective, was totally different. He said that I am ready to take the responsibility of this decision. But together we need to take the responsibility of that tuition that we have paid for. The fourth principle in creating a climate where truth is heard is build a red flag mechanism. Build a red flag mechanism in the way that you have to create certain mechanism which will tell you in advance that something is going to be wrong with the environment of the organization or the institution. You have to create such kind of mechanisms. Now we are in the age of information. All the organization need to have a lot of information and good quality information. But if we see the good companies and the great companies, or the companies which crumbled, they didn't crumble because of lack of information. There was enough information available with those companies, but they didn't use that information properly. Let's take a case of a steel company, Bethlehem Steel Factory, which you are aware from Principles and Practices of Management, Bethlehem Steel Factory. Now this company had information about the competition from mini mill companies like Nucor. They are aware that mini mill companies are giving us a lot of fierce competition in the product range we have. And whatever products we are going to offer, even in the future, they are not going to be successful. And present products are not so attractive for the present customer. This information was available, but they never focused on information unless and until they realized that a lot of their market share has been taken by those small minimal companies. And then they woke up that yes, something is wrong. So information was available, but that mechanism, red flag mechanism, where the flags are shown to the company that something is going to be wrong with the company, this was not created. Such kind of mechanism was not created in the organization. Similarly, Bank of America was aware that because of deregulation of banks, the banking environment is going to be changed. The way banks probably are established, or the way the banks are managed, the methods are going to be changed. The incentive system, the perks, the remuneration environment that the banking sector is offering at that time was going to be irrelevant. Bank of America was aware about the fact, but they continued with the prevailing incentive system and compensation system, and they realized that their policies are going wrong after a loss of around $1.8 million. Sorry, $1.8 billion. The realization was there. Exactly opposite was the company which we have taken for the book is Wells Fargo. Wells Fargo realized that if we continue with the present banking operations methodology, incentives, perks, remuneration, it will no longer be relevant, because the organization, especially banking organizations, should be more cost effective. We should think about cost and profits, profitability, profit per person, profit per branch. Otherwise, we will not survive. This realization was there with Wells Fargo. This realization was not there with Bank of America, even though they had similar kind of information. But this information was ignored. So we can say that both the type of companies, both the sets of companies, good companies and great companies, they have information. They have information. They have access to information. They have access to a lot of information. They have access to good quality information. But the key differentiating factor in the two sets of companies is great companies converted this information into information that cannot be ignored. Information is vital. Let's use it for each and every business purpose. Great companies did that. Good companies did not probably thought of that data for decision making purpose. They ignored it. and they remained great. So the author has stated one example of a company called as Granite Rock. This is a very interesting example of Granite Rock, where the CEO created a red flag system by introducing a very innovative concept which is known as short pay. Now, what is this short pay? Short pay was a concept where if the customer feels that any of the item which is delivered by the Granite Rock, they are not satisfied with any of the product delivered, either in terms of quality, quantity, condition. If they are not satisfied with the product, you simply round it off and do not pay for that product. You keep the product, customer, but do not pay for the product. It's not a refund scheme that the product will be either given, different product will be given, or the cash will be given back to the Granite Rock. No, it was not a refund policy. It was just do not pay if you don't like any of the product given by us in terms of quality, quantity, and condition. When asked to the CEO, he told that yes, customer survey gives us a lot of information, what customers are thinking about the product, whether we are wrong, whether we are right. The information we get from the customers through customer surveys. But when you have a concept like short pay, we just cannot ignore the invoices from the consumers, because company is losing money itself is a red flag that consumers are not liking our product if there are a lot of claims by the consumers using short pay. So we are approaching the consumers, we are telling them what's wrong with our product, please tell us. So because of that communication, the consumers were retained by the company. Otherwise, if the consumer is unhappy, not satisfied with the product for a longer period of time, the company will lose it to certain competitor in the market. But because of short pay, we talk to them and try to improve our products. That kind of red flag mechanism was created. Here the author says that this concept, I don't say that all the great companies, they had such kind of concepts. And especially when you have a level 5 leader in your company, you don't need to have such kind of red flag. Or if you have level 4 person with charismatic personality, with great personality, probably you will not require red flag mechanism. But if you do not have level 5 leader, if you do not have a charismatic leader, charismatic personality of a leader, then you have to create a climate, such kind of red flag mechanism where you can understand the information, the data that cannot be ignored. Next point in the discussion is unwavering faith in the products amid the brutal facts. Now this story is about 2-3 companies. When Procter and Gamble introduced some products in the paper industry, Scott Papers was leading the paper industry, and when the Procter and Gamble entered into paper market, there was a terrible time in Scott Papers. Scott Paper, there was a meeting, and in that meeting, all the top management people, so leaders who representing a leader in the paper industry, they started to discuss, oh my God, Procter and Gamble is here in the paper industry. How we are going to survive? They are such a big player. They have such a great advertising budget, marketing budget, great technology, talented people. Oh my God, how we are going to sustain? What are the different ways to sustain in the market? Which are the other products that we are going to introduce? So, without actually giving a fight, they kept their weapons on the ground. They resigned to fight Scott Papers. They already prepared their minds for level 2 company, and that space of level 1 was mentally given to Procter and Gamble. So this was the attitude that before actually giving competition by your good people with the help of your good products, mentally they were ready to give that space to Procter and Gamble. And they started to search for the ways that how to survive in the market, whatever we have, whatever products, whatever technology we'll have, how to survive with the help of this technology. So this is one mentality. And the other mentality was about Kimberly Clark. Now Kimberly Clark, when they saw that Procter and Gamble is entering in the market, they feel that, oh, what a great opportunity to prove ourselves. Can we have a better and bigger competitor than Procter and Gamble to fight? No. So now this is the opportunity for us to make the organization stronger and better. Stronger and better. Let's come, let's unite, let's use our technology, let's use our products, let's use our paper to give fight to world leader. That is Procter and Gamble. Okay, they must be having great people with them. They may be having great technology. They may be having probably greatest talented people, products. But we believe in our products. We believe in the quality of our products that we are offering to the consumers. And because of this belief, we feel that we can beat Procter and Gamble in the paper market. Now this is called as unwavering faith in the products among the brutal facts. Brutal fact was there that Procter and Gamble, yes, one of the biggest company in the world, has entered in the paper industry. And it was a big challenge. But I said unwavering faith in people, in the products that you are offering, that yes, will be better than them. In one of the meetings, the CEO came and said that let's keep 1 minute of silence for someone. People were little bit, I say, amazed. What happened? Who died? For whom we are keeping the silence? But they kept silence for a minute or two. And after an appropriate pause, the CEO told that, Darwin Smith told that, this was a silence for Procter and Gamble because we are going to beat them, and I am sure about that definitely we are going to beat them in this market. This is faith in the company. This is faith in the product. This is faith in the people. This is faith in the technology. Yes, that even though the person or the opposite company is Goliath, huge, bigger, stronger, we are not less. When asked to the CEO of Kroger that what is the secret of your success in the difficult times, he said that we had having some feeling like Churchillian feeling in the sense that we have a strong will to win. I have a strong will to win. We are a Kroger, a big company. We are Kroger. We will not run away from the competition. We are here to survive. We are not just here to survive, but here we are there to win. For that, it may take 100 years. We may not be there, but at the end of 100 years, we will win. That kind of spirit they had in the organization. The author and his team of researchers having some data of hardiness. Hardiness in the sense they had categorized some patients or some people on the basis of difficulties they have faced in their life. Challenges like probably survivor from accident, cancer patients faced a lot of difficulties in their life. Those kind of people who had some hardships in their lives. And they categorized into 3 categories. First category of people, those people who have put their weapons. Oh, nothing can happen with me. I'm not going to survive. This problem is going to take my life. The life will never be normal. This and that. That kind of company, that kind of feeling where you put your weapons down before fighting. Second category of people who thought that yes, life will be normal, and their life became normal. And third category of people who emerged out as a winner. they become better and stronger after the challenging time. I still remember one example of one Indian soldier who survived the Kargil war. And after Kargil war, there were too many bullets in his body. And his doctor told that probably it will be very difficult for you to walk, to stand, and probably it will be difficult for you to wake up from the bed, to get down on the bed. But he felt that no, these bullets cannot make me weak. I will emerge as a stronger person. He not only came down the bed, he not only stood up, he not only walked, he ran. He participated in the races. He participated in the swimming competitions. He participated in jogging competitions. He participated in cycling competitions. And in some races, he actually won and beat normal people. So this is what difficulties make people strong. And the great companies are like these categories of people who emerge better, stronger personality than after a challenging time. Again, going back to the example of Fannie Mac, where it was facing a lot of problems. It was facing a lot of problems. They were on the verge of bankruptcy. They were almost giving 15% interest on their debts, and they were getting 9% interest from their earlier mortgages. So look at the difference. 9% they were getting and 15% they were paying for the debt, and cumulatively the debts were accordingly $50 million. $50 million. And at that time, Maxwell took the charge of the company. It was not very easy for him. It was not definitely very easy for him, because whatever products they were offering, they were dependent on the rates which are declared by the government, the mortgage rates which are declared by the government. So at a condition when the government's decisions were favorable in terms of interest rate, performance of Fannie Mac was going up. In terms of if the decisions are to reduce the interest rates, profitability of the company was going down, and $56 million losses, or I will say debts, was a huge thing. Nobody was talking about the survival of this company. But David Maxwell took over. He brought good people in the organization, and he instilled a spirit in the company that yes, we are going to fight, and we are a great company. We'll make this company even greater. And they started to change the products they are offering, the verticals they were offering. Some people were saying that if the company Fannie Mac is thinking about new products, it is like you have a debt of $56 million. You are analogy. You are an outdated car company, and you are thinking of going on the moon. That kind of ambition you have. But Maxwell thought that yes, we are ambitious. We are ambitious. There are irrelevant things, stupid things in the present products. We will remove them. We will make our products which are really not very dependent on the rates of the government rates. We'll come with really innovative products, and that innovation they continued. But during this period of a transition, when they were inventing the new products, they said that we never allowed the feeling that we will lose this battle. We never allowed this feeling of keeping weapon down. We always thought that we will emerge as a very strong player after this challenge is gone. And they continued to work with this period, with this kind of feeling, with this kind of attitude. And slowly, they altered all their products. They invented, I'll say, they reinvented a different model which was giving them better returns. A model in terms of better mortgaging, and the mortgage rates were not dependent on the government rates. Slowly, companies started to improve bit by bit, day by day, week by week, month by month. And they said to the world that we are a better company now. So on one side, when they started the transition, there was loss of $56 million, and on the other side, they bet the competitions. Their debt was gone in the air, and they gave the returns as much as 8% over a period of this transition. This is what happened with the great organization, where they have unwavering faith in their abilities, unwavering faith in the products, unwavering faith in the organization that things will be better, and at the end we will prevail as a great company.